Streaming live via the internet. Welcome to ISP Radio, your weekly source for ISP-related news, events, and interviews with industry experts. If you deliver internet via fiber optic, wireless, coax, or any other way, you're in the right place. Chat live with us weekly via ispradio.com every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. And now a brief word from our sponsors. Link Technologies, providing ISP consulting, support, and hardware for wireless ISPs. TowerCoverage.com, providing online RF coverage maps. And now your host for ISP Radio, Steve Grabiel and Dennis Burgess.
Welcome to another edition of ISP Radio. I'm the host, Steve Grabiel, and broadcasting from Moriarty, New Mexico, and we have Dennis Burgess producing the show and co-hosting it from St. Louis, Missouri. Well, what's been going on out there? I got back from four-wheeling in southern Colorado and a bunch of rain. That was fun, and came back and taking our time installing fiber optics. It's slow to the go, but it's all right. The network's been running pretty outstanding considering the power company had a 29-hour outage last week. A microburst came through and wiped out 17 of their transmission poles, but those guys got it up and running. Went down 2:45 in the afternoon on Friday and came back up Sunday around 1:45. So we had a pretty big outage, and fortunately not a lot of people called and complained, because if they don't have power, sometimes they call and they say, I don't have any internet. Well, do you have power? No. Just funny how kind of beautiful out today, and looking forward to going out and finishing up some fiber projects. What's going on in your end of the world, Dennis?
Well, I'll tell you what, we've been really busy with lots of projects. All of our techs have been extremely busy, etc. So that's always a really good thing. You know, we've been busy. That's the key. We're definitely gearing up for the summertime operations, as we have been. But today we have Stephen with TowerCoverage to talk about our tower coverage system. Next week we have Unitel. I believe the guy's named Ryan. Right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, Ryan from Unitel, and he's going to be talking about how our industry has evolved and how the insurance industry can help our industry. So really good stuff there as well. Otherwise, you know, the weather's been dry and oppressive here for the most part. We've definitely had our good days and bad days. Last weekend was gorgeous, and on Sunday we got some rain, which was really, really needed. But other than that, we're keeping busy.
Good. After the show last week, the last time we talked, I went to the website and got my room for the Wispapalooza, pretty reasonable rate, like $99 or something like that a night. So I went and did that. So I'm all set up and ready to go to Wispapalooza and looking forward to it. Probably I'll drive again.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, It is a good show. You know, you should definitely, everybody should really go. It is what it is. You know, it's definitely a great show, and when we really look forward to it. I always look forward to it because I think it's a really probably one of the best shows out there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it evolves.
Yeah, and this year, you know, we're definitely going to have a lot more options, and we have a lot more, how could I put it, we have a lot more time. I mean, now we have a 5-day show, not a 3-day show, so we have a lot more time.
From our last show, mentioned that they've changed some things and really adapted the schedule and the agenda to better serve all of the WISPs that go to the show. Exactly.
And that's a really good thing. You know, we definitely need to have everybody show up to the radio show, show up to Wispapalooza. Just in case you don't know, Wispapalooza is coming up. You need to buy your tickets now. It's in October. It is a 5-day show. You can arrive on Monday, which is the cheapest day to fly into Vegas, if you wish to. You can also arrive on Sunday. And then if you arrive on Sunday, you can do the master sessions on Monday. Those are in-depth, like 4-hour sessions. So those are really great sessions. Then we have the main show Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then half of Thursday and then Friday is the fiber boot camp, the fiber stuff. So if you are a operator that's interested in fixed wireless, if you're an operator that's interested in fiber, it is a great show, and you can come just for the fiber. You can come for the main part of the show. There's options for everybody.
Exactly.
So really, really good stuff. I would recommend everybody to make sure you get onto the show and enjoy the show. They have a room block, like you said, $99. That's a relatively inexpensive room in Vegas. At basically, you're not on the Strip, but you're within walking distance to the Strip. So it's definitely a really good event, and I recommend everybody to go.
Right. Well, let's delve into our guest speaker today. Today we have TowerCoverage's manager, Steven Zeiss, and we're announcing the launch of TowerCoverage version 3, and we want to hear about all the new bells and whistles that TowerCoverage has put together on top of an outstanding product they already offer. So, Steven, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Go ahead and start in and tell us all about the new and improved TowerCoverage.
So with TowerCoverage version 3, we've added a lot of new stuff to include the ability to be able to request things, and that way we can track all this stuff a lot better as well. But a lot of the stuff that has changed in TowerCoverage version 3, the user interface is a lot better. It's a lot more streamlined. You're able to actually when you edit your coverages, edit your maps, everything actually updates on your stats page live. The stats page will give you your counts for your end user submissions. It'll give you a running total of what's happened in the last 30 days, what's happened in the last 12 months, how many you've gotten today. Our news feed is a lot more visible. Excuse me, so that way you can actually see what's going on. If we update anything important to the website, we update our news feed so that way you can see anything that's happening and not have to wonder what's going on. There's also as you can see at the top, you'll see that the FCC Form 477 is coming due. We have the countdown timer for it, so that way you can you don't forget about that and you don't get fined for missing that. You'll see in the top right corner of the stats page, you have the request a feature. In the request a feature, this is where you can actually view what all is going on per the customers, what other users want. You can go through these. You can upvote them by clicking on the I want this. It'll add a count, and this is what we're going to be working off of when we develop new features. You can also just report a bug that you find in here. Keep in mind that anything you put in here, you'll be able to see that you added it. It will have to be approved before it displays for other people. But in the top right corner, it has the add request, and it makes it to where you can actually add a feature request as to what category it's in. If you want a feature for the multi-map, the account, anything like that, you can add those requests in. And then, like I said, people can vote for those, and that way we know what our customers want the most and add by that. Next thing that we've added on the sites page, we have made it added the ability for you to actually change the pin color. You can utilize those however you want. If you want to use like red pins for your backbone towers, blue pins for your repeaters, so on and so forth. However you wish to utilize those, but it's not just all one pin type. And on your multi-map, if you have the pins displayed, all those different pin colors will appear. We also added on the sites page the Find My Location. So if you click the Find My Location, it'll work on mobile as well, which makes it really nice. If you're out at a tower location, you don't have to hunt and find for it. You open up your tower coverage, you hit Find My Location, and it moves the pin to where you're standing. And that's relative to GPS, the GPS on your phone and stuff. It could be a little bit off, but it's going to get you really close. Next thing we added on the create a link page, it's no longer just a blank page. You can actually select your two different tower sites. And when you select your tower sites, it's going to center the map on the two points that you're creating a link for. And it's going to show you where that potential link is. Anytime you change the site locations, it's going to readjust the map for you. And it's going to change the polyline on the map so that way you can see where the link you're about to create is. So that way you don't have to create a link and be like, oh, that's not the right one. Those aren't the 2 correct points. And you can see what's going to occur before it actually happens. In your coverage creation, one of the little simple tools that we've added is the antenna azimuth. Whenever you type in an azimuth, it automatically adjusts the compass, so that way you don't have to guess what direction your sector is going to be pointing. So no matter what you type in, it's going to point in the correct direction for you. On the performance values, the system performance, the 2 different colors, we actually have changed it to where it displays what the signal range is for those 2 colors, so that way you don't have to try and figure out what those are. Anytime you adjust your RX threshold, which is your minimum install signal requirement, or your strong signal margin, it will automatically adjust for you. On your multi-map, as you can see, the pins and everything will now display. All of your pin colors. We've also added to where when you click on your tower pins, the name of the tower or site location, the height, whatever the default height of that tower is, and then also as before in the previous version, on the site, the description and group really served not a whole lot of purpose. It didn't really display anywhere, so we added to where those display. So if you want to put in your description that the capability of the access points on this tower is my high tier packages, or however you want to utilize it, but that's one of the common reasons for utilizing it. So then your sales team can actually, whenever they receive one of your end user submissions, they can just click on the tower that the best signal is to, and find out what packages to offer them without having to try and figure it out. Simple things
cool.
like that. Yeah, it's definitely made those 2 fields that have always been there more useful to the customers. As you can see, the UI and everything has totally been redone. You have all your different map types. You even have a go dark, so that way if you want to see the coverage a little bit better. Your end user submission data, if you have a saved search, which I'll get to here in a sec, we've added that. You can actually choose which end user submissions to display. So that way, if you have thousands and thousands of submissions, you can narrow it down. That way, you only see the ones you want to see, not have to pick the one you want to find out of your whole collection. Before, with the website integration, if you wanted to allow your sales team to submit end user submissions into your tower coverage account, you would have to cut the URL out of the iframe code and have them just save it as a bookmark within their browser. Now you don't have to do that. With this map, this one doesn't have data collection on, so this one's going to show the EUS form, or excuse me, the map. But if it's a multi-map that has this data collection on, it's going to show the actual end user submission form, and it's functional. So they don't have to go to a different tab or anything like that, or find a bookmark. You can literally just set their start page of your sales team to this multi-map, and all they have to do is, if they go to TowerCoverage.com and log in, they don't have to find anything. They don't have to hunt for anything. It will automatically open them up to the multi-map, and they can just click the test and submit an end user submission into the account while they're on the page and on the phone with the customer. For the path analysis, whether it be a single or a multi-path, we've added the ability to actually view exactly where different land cover types are affecting the link. So if you actually move the slider, as you can see, it'll move the little orange ball on the bottom of the screen. You can pinpoint a location and then zoom in and find out what that is. As you can see from the EUS setting, or excuse me, land cover settings, you'll see the red, which is high urban buildup. If you want to see if that's actually affecting the link, because the high urban buildup, it only knows what the land cover settings say. So if in this link, the link is showing that the high urban buildup is the reason for the path analysis not working, you can move that slider to that point and zoom in on it, and judging by the satellite view, you can tell if that building is actually as tall as the land cover thinks it is. There's an example of the test form on a map that actually has EUS data collection on it. So all they got to do is click that, fill it out, and it goes into your end user submission data.
Now that would be the end user that fills that out, right?
This here actually submits to. It's the same thing as the website integration. So like if one of our customers takes the iframe code from this multi-map, which is over here, and then you put that on your website, this is the form that displays on their website.
Okay.
Now, the sales team can actually use this form as well without having to go to your website or without having to save this. They can be in the tower coverage map and ask the customer their information, fill this out as they're going, and it'll submit it to the tower coverage account EUS data. So that way you get to retain it without having to just write it down or something like that and then type it in later.
I'm sorry, this is like something that your sales folks could fill out when people call in, or you could have it on your website where people could fill this in, and then it would just be automatically populated in our tower coverage account, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And then it'll email you the results.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that you don't actually have to have the form on your website. You can make it. You can use TowerCoverage.com and just open up the form, or your employees, if you have the site on your form, the website integration on your website, they can just go to your website and fill out the form. It's the same difference.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah, it's all the same. It all works hand in hand. Even the custom form. If you use the APIs, we have many new APIs, and those are very very long to discuss those. But if you go to our wiki, there is a breakdown and a walkthrough to include a test process form to be able to. You take your account information and submit to the test process, and you can test those as well. But there's a lot of those. I mean, we could talk about those for hours.
Mm-hmm.
On your end user submit, this is the data that is collected. So anytime that form is filled out, this is where it saves to. One of the things that we've added a quick search, so that way you can narrow stuff down really fast if you're just looking for something specific. If you add a new tower, and you're wanting to see if any of the stuff that failed previously, you can use an advanced search. You have the option to save it. The saving in one of your advanced searches, that is, as I showed you on the multi-map, makes it to where you can narrow stuff down on the multi-map, or those saved searches can be submitted to our best tower feature. The best tower feature, when you submit it, when you create a new one, it's going to ask you some parameters. It only allows for Omni, because basically if you're going to build a new tower, you're going to try and get 360 coverage off of it. When you submit these, they do take a while. Keep in mind it's a lot of calculations. But once it's done processing, then you end up getting a heat map. And what the heat map tells you is basically the hotter the color, the more connections that were made. So if you submit 37 end user submissions to the best tower with the parameters of a coverage, what it's going to do is do basically a reverse path analysis and find where the location is where the most of those customers could be reached, giving the parameters that you chose for the tower location. Then what makes that really nice is that if you click on the map, you can actually get the latitude and longitude and the address of those tower locations, or of that hot location if you're wanting to build a tower. Or if you don't want to build a tower, all these orange dots in here, that's the FCC ASR database. That makes it where you can actually click this link, go to the FCC website, and find out who owns the tower, what their contact information is, everything. So basically all you got to do is do your best tower, pick one of the towers that's already in the FCC database, contact them, and get some space and go put your equipment up. It eliminates the guesswork of where should I put a tower or where should I roll out to next to increase my network.
What's really interesting is you moved that red pin, and as you moved it in the address updated.
Correct. Yes. Anytime
that's amazing.
Anytime you move it, it's going to change the change the address for you. So it's going to tell you what the address, latitude and longitude is of the location.
Yeah,
Wow.
and this feature here, I mean, you have to think that, you know, we had 37 records in our saved search. And basically what we do is we do a reverse path analysis. Now, I want to just kind of give everybody an example of what that actually is. That is doing a coverage pattern from clients 37 times in this particular case. So there's 12.8 million or so calculations per coverage map, and we're doing that 37 times. Once that is done, then we have to do a merge that basically brings all the maps, all the customers, into a heat map, and that's where we get this heat map from. So again, if you go to the red areas, those are the areas that almost 100% or nearly 100% or 100% of those 37 records should be able to get service from a tower located at the height that you specified. In this case, it was 150 meters. At the height that you specified, on the frequency you specified, with the antenna gain and all that kind of good stuff that you've specified. So it is a very powerful feature. It does take a little while to render because, you know, again, we're doing 12.8 million calculations times however many records that you have in your saved search. And let's say you have 100 or 150, it's going to take probably an hour or two to get done. So we will keep you up to date on that, but it does take a little bit of time to get done. So excellent feature, though. Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I've seen them take a few hours. I've seen them take, you know, only 10 or 15 minutes. It just depends on, like Dennis said, the number of calculations. And the next thing that we've kind of missed it. Go back. I'm sorry about that. So on your advanced search, like I was saying, the advanced search can be used for like real time. It can be used to narrow stuff down. You can do the quick search or the advanced search. If you're looking to find just all of your no service pin types, you can do that. It'll reload. In this account, there's only the one, but it makes it to where you don't have to hunt and find and search. We've also added the bulk reprocess. The EOS reprocess, it consumes API calls, so you want to keep that in mind whenever you're using it. If you're wanting to bulk upload, you can. If you're a tier 5 account or greater, you have access to the bulk upload feature, which means all that data and stuff that you've been collecting over the years, you can go to the bulk upload feature. There's a template there, fill it in appropriately, and you can bulk upload those into your account. It just makes it to where you don't have to sit there and add everything one by one. But that is basically all of the new stuff that we've added. Anything that any of the other stuff, like I said, the UI has changed significantly, but everything that was there is still there. It just might have changed location or something like that. We do have a webinar the last Thursday of every month. We have a wiki, and then we also have our email, which is support@TowerCoverage.com, or you can just give us a call. Any questions or concerns, any features you want, you can use the new feature request. You can even, if you just want to report a bug, you can stick them in there, and we'll work on those from there as well. Or if you're having an issue or something, give us a call, shoot us an email.
So you talked about API integration. Does that mean like tying into your power codes, your bill maxes, those kind of applications? And you were mentioning bulk upload. Would that tie into that? No,
the API integration is basically the same thing as the website integration with that iframe.
Okay.
That form, if you utilize the iframe, that form is the way it is. You can change the language on it. You can change the text on what your customers see. But if you're wanting to change which fields are required, get rid of some fields, change the drop-down lists, things like that, then you could use the custom API integration. We actually have a template generator. If you go to your account and you go to API, there's an EOS API template generator. So this is literally acts identical to the one that we showed previously, the iframe version. It does exactly the same thing, except it goes off of how many API calls you have on your account. This template generator is literally just a template. You can fill all this stuff in. One of the big differences is you have to have a Google Map key. So you have to, on your Google account, you'll have to get a geocode/JavaScript key, which is free. You can have up to 2,500 Google Map API submissions per day with the free one. So it's not a big deal to get one, but you do have to have one, otherwise it won't work. But this one is completely customizable. You can change the colors, you can remove fields, you can add fields, you can change what the defaults are, you can pick what's in the drop-down list, and like I said, this is literally just a template generator. You don't have to use this to use the APIs. You can actually just go to the wiki and the API getting started. There's a link to all the different APIs, and there's code examples. Whether you want to use HTTP post, if you want to use SOAP, whatever you want to do, however you want to submit it, as long as you submit all the correct strings with all the data in the correct format, then it'll return response and tell you if it's a success or not, if your account is capable of handling the number of requests, so on and so forth, and then it adds to your account the exact same way as the other one does. This is just a way for you to get completely custom on your website. That way your EOS form looks just the way you want it on your website. Now the integration into your billing system, that is also in your account settings. The EOS billing system API does not it does not consume API calls. So in here, this is where you put in the credentials as to where you want your end user submissions to push to. So we push it's just a data push. It goes the same every single time. Anytime an end user submission comes into your account, whether it's from this EOS API or if it's from the EOS iframe, it pushes to wherever you set the URL to push to. You can even if you just set it to other and you direct it to push to your server, if you want to receive an XML response from everyone, you can do that. It's totally possible. All the TowerCoverage APIs that are available make your TowerCoverage count extremely powerful if you want to do the coding on your end to utilize all the different APIs that are available.
Okay.
Yeah, so we provide a iframe service. That iframe does not cost you API calls. Okay, that iframe is coded to that right there. That is what you're going to get on your website. You can control where it goes to after the fact. That type of information you can do and you can control. However, some people prefer to use Bing Maps. They prefer to use some other system. And that's why we have our API. They can program their system to do whatever they wish to do, as long as our API gets the data in the format that it needs. Then we will process it accordingly. So, pretty straightforward. We have quite a few people that use the API. A lot of billing systems are going to be using the APIs, things like that. But again, it's not a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
So. I guess, Steven, do you have any other awesome features or anything else that is new with the version 3? I actually got a Skype message. They actually asked about the CAPTCHA. So if you click test there on the website integration, I'm pretty sure that they're mentioning the CAPTCHA. So we have the Google reCAPTCHA at the bottom, which is basically verifying that you're not a bot. Unfortunately, in our iframe code, that is a requirement. We cannot get rid of that. Okay? We've had lots of customers complain whenever we got rid of it that we had they were getting multiple submissions and they're getting duplicates, and then they were getting bots that were submitting it, things like that. So we added it, and then we get people that say, well, why do we have it? So on our iframe, it is a requirement. However, you can use the template generator Those do use API calls, but that template generator does not have the reCAPTCHA in it. Or you can also create your own service and use our EUS API, the End User Submission API. Either one of those is perfectly legitimate, and again, you can submit that. I mean, this is literally how easy your form could be. You probably wouldn't want all that information to be displayed, but all the information is there for you to do a HTTP or SOAP push to us. So we have all that information available on our wiki site so that everybody knows exactly where the heck it is going. So I'm also checking our, well, I will be checking our messages just to make sure that everything is good. Looks like everything's doing pretty good here.
The chat on the website?
Yeah. Just making sure, everything is correct, if that makes sense. Making sure there's no other questions or queries or other informational tidbits that we may need or we may need to know about or anything like that. So
in this EUS template generator, like if you change the default state to Missouri, it would update on here on the left. So what's on the left is indicative of what you change.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So if you change your primary color, it shows you what it's going to change to. The map pins is for the pin that displays after they hit next. I don't have a Google Map key right now to paste in there, so I wouldn't be able to show you that. But the pin that appears to the customer, if you want it to look different because this red pin matches the theme of your website or something like that, you can change them, or you can literally just add an icon image to your web server where this code is being held, and inside the show code. Inside here, you can actually change it. So once you're done modifying the template, you can literally hit show code. It already has it all copied. You just hit copy and paste it into your code generator on your website when you're updating your website.
So, in this, excuse my ignorance, but this template here, you put it on your website, a client goes in there, puts in their name, address, and phone number and all that stuff, and you go through the process. It puts the pin on the map, puts the best tower next to them, and gives them a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
No, this will respond however you wish for it to respond to. Where it takes them after they fill it out is totally up to you. This one specifically, it has display the map. So with that checked upon submission, it's going to display the map with their pin wherever their location is on the map inside your coverage area, and then it'll give a message afterwards. And you, within the code of it, you can change the message, or you can not have it do that at all. If you uncheck that pin, it's just going to be the message. Okay,
saying someone will get back to you soon about your.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't give them the results. The results come to your email and go to your billing system. It does not. It's not handed to the customer. Now,
okay, gotcha.
With the other APIs, like the pre-qual API, you could actually code your website to respond to them. Yes, we can give you service. No, we can't. You can use that API to give them a response, and you can chain these together. Whenever you're doing your APIs, you can actually chain them all together. If you have 3 different packages, you can create a multi-map for the 3 different speed packages that you have, submit a pre-qual API to the 3 different maps, and whichever the highest one is that responds with yes, you offer those packages to them, and you can disregard the highest one if that map responded no. Right. They're all very powerful.
Yes, I mean, you can do anything you really wish to with our APIs, and that's really why we developed the APIs, is because we have people that want to do 18 bazillion different things with it. If you want them to actually sit there and wait for a yes-no answer, you could actually do that if you wanted to. However, most of our customers do not wish to do that. They want to call our clients. So, again, it's just we can do anything you need to, depending on your technical levels, you may need to get a website programmer to actually program and use the API correctly, because maybe our template generator, again, our template generator is just there to give you some sample code that you can actually use on your website, so that it is not as I'm trying to think of the right word here, so that it is not as restrictive as our iframe code. But the iframe code is for, hey, here's my coverage. Do you wish to show your customer the coverage or not? What page do you wish them to redirect to? And then here is my coverage. You copy the code, put it on your website, you save it, and it's online. Very, very simple. The next step is the EUS template generator. This creates the API. It uses our API. It gives you plenty of options to adjust your values accordingly. Of course, those adjusted values can be modified inside the code as well. And then from there, once you have used our EUS template generator and you want something even more custom, that's why we have our APIs, so that you can sit there and make whatever you want, literally whatever you want on your website, and all you have to do is post to us, is send us the data and say, here's my account, here's my multi-coverage ID, here's the customer information, that type of stuff, and then bam, you will get a reply.
Gotcha.
So, like I said, lots and lots of options here. It's just really up to you on what you want to do and what your abilities are, too. Because we do have customers that call us up and say, hey, I want you to program something. Well, that's why we've made the APIs, because we want to have customers to use our API and to give them a programming method that they can do that. However, you may, like I said, you may have to get a programmer to do that type of work for you. Else,
Well, I got a question for you guys. So at the beginning of the show, you were showing us the the requests for new bells and whistles and stuff. Is the modifications to create version 3 the end result of receiving a bunch of people's questions about, we'd like this?
Oh yeah. And the problem we have is that we need to track all that. So that's why we've added the feature request page in our bug fix section, is because we need to be able to sit there and say, one, yes, you've requested that feature, and guess what? Now it's complete. We want to send you an email. We want to say, hey, you said you wanted it. We have completed it. Okay?
Yeah.
Two, all of those features, all those features are really good. People are liking. They say they want this. As we get more, we actually focus on what people actually want. We get some emails that come in from support that say, hey, we want this feature. Well, that's all good and fine and dandy, but whenever you have 200 users, you want the features that most of the people want, that affect everybody, that gets you the most bang for your buck. And that's why we want to focus on this. So we want people to add feature requests. We want people to report bugs. We want a easy way to do that, and that's why we've added this. So, again, these a lot of these are actually feature requests that people have emailed in prior, and now that we've launched the add feature request section, we've added those to them to that. So hopefully going forward we will have a much better way to add requests, to do bug fixes, things like that, and to continue on.
Is it kind of like, so it's more real time, not just an email, hey, I'd like to get this feature.
Exactly. Now we're tracking everybody. We know.
You're tracking it, and then do people, if users of Tower Coverage come to it, is there a place they can vote? Yeah, I'd really like to have that.
Well, that's what this is. You can go right there and click on it. Steven, you want to show them?
Yeah, so if you submit a request, it's going to show up as instead of this the plus button, it's going to show up pending approval as soon as one of the admins on Tower Coverage approves it. For grammatical and verbiage and stuff like that. We'll approve it. It'll be displayed here, and you can see the request count. So the times requested over here is how many times the plus button next to it has been clicked. So so now you see this one as a number 2. Mm-hmm. But it will only let you do it once per account.
Right.
So if I can sit here and click it over and over again, so it's account based. So if you click on it and it doesn't increment the times requested, it means somebody on your account has already uploaded that request. We don't want an account creating 600 users and then clicking it a bunch of times. But every single time this thing is clicked, it tracks who clicked it, which account clicked on it. So that way, when it is complete, we have that list of all the tower coverage accounts that wanted that clicked on it. So that way, when it is complete, we have that list.
What do you guys meet like once a quarter to go, hey, these people want this, let's look into adding it?
We discuss it usually on a weekly basis as to what's going on, bug fixes. We've got it to where we try to do an update once a week. The change log up here will actually take you to the wiki and show you what is being changed, the day it was changed, when things were updated. If something new was updated, it will show you anything that we've corrected, anything we've fixed. The bug fixes will be added to the feature request, so it'll be request features / report bug, something to that fashion. So that way you can report bugs there too. And then we will utilize that all that data to generate features off of, to correct bugs off of. So that way, if you report a bug, it's not just you shoot in an email and I don't know when it's fixed. It'll be you submit a feature, you submit a bug, and you can literally go to that page and see that it has that orange check mark that says, hey, this is done.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, the goal is to, one, have a good bug fix system as well as a feature request system so that we know exactly what people wish to have, we know the people that wish to have it, and we count all that. So now we have, here's the feature that people want the most, and we're going to implement that. As we implement that, then we can email them and say, hey, this feature you requested, now it's available. So we did have a question on, I don't really understand the question. I'm going to just read the question. It's probably not it's actually not a good question. Why are all these new features not available on all account tiers? I guess we would have to know exactly which tier you are on. Steven, did you want to bring up the tiered plans? But for the most part, everything that you have seen is available on, for the most part, every tier. I'm just trying to think what is not.
Saved searches. Saved searches are tier 1 and tier 2 don't have saved searches available.
Gotcha.
Bulk upload is only available tier 5 and above. The EUS, bulk EUS reprocess is a tier 3 and above. For the most part, most of the features that you're seeing that aren't available is because of it, because some of those features use API calls. The EUS reprocess, there is one feature that I did miss, which would be the bulk coverage update. I'll show you that one too. I did miss that actually.
Yeah, that's a new feature.
But pardon me?
Yeah, that's a new feature. We want to cover that.
Yeah, exactly. I totally missed that one.
So it was a good question.
Yeah. It reminded me of that. Our Google Fly Path was on the last one. We added it at the very end of the last one. I don't know if people knew it was there or not. But it actually, if you have a point-to-point link, the Google Fly Path is tier 3 and up. The pin colors anybody can change. But like I said, for the bulk coverage update, that is one of the new features. So if you're wanting to update a couple coverages, you can do up to 100 at a time. And this will be a low priority process. So if you select 100 coverages to make changes to, and you bulk update them, it is going to take time, because if we don't want to allow one account to submit 100 and just put them all in a line. Because if somebody else tries to process a coverage and you have 100 of them in a line, it's going to take forever for theirs. So basically, if one of our many servers is not busy, it will grab one of yours and do it. If they're all busy, then all yours will be on hold until one. I mean, we have many servers, so that do processing. So it's not like it's going to get too extreme, but it will be a low priority. But like I said, if you select several of these coverages. I don't have 100 coverages in here, so I can select them all and just hit it, so that way you can see the full value of it. So what this does is it gives you a thumbnail image of each of the coverages that you selected. If you decide, okay, well, I didn't want to edit that one, I don't want to edit that one, that one's just a blank one, so there's no point in putting that one in processing. So you can select which ones you want to actually edit. And then over here on the right hand side, it is the same thing as your edit coverages page. All the values are here. There are some that aren't there. The tower site, in general, we left that one out because usually you're not going to want to change the tower site location to a massive amount of coverages. But any value that you want to change, you click on the box to the left. It'll highlight that value. This means that only this and only this value are going to be changed on all of these coverages. So if you just wanted to change your required reliability, you can just change that. If you wanted to turn the LAN cover on or off for all of these coverages, you can do so. You can select it as many or as few as you wish. You can actually just select none of them. So what makes this really nice is that in your account settings, when you adjust your LAN cover, the LAN cover for a coverage, the coverage is processed on whatever the current LAN cover is in your account settings. At this time, that is a global setting. But if you find out that your LAN cover density was set too low, you're getting a lot of failed path analysis or EUS submissions that their tower coverage is reporting a higher signal than what you're seeing in the field. In general, that means that your LAN cover densities are set too low. So you go in there, you up your LAN cover, you select all of your coverages. You don't have to change anything. You just want to update them to utilize the new LAN cover settings. So instead of going into coverage 1, hitting update, coverage 2, update, coverage 3, update, this allows you to do them all. This is one of the features that we were talking about that utilizes API calls. Each coverage that you process is going to be an API call. The higher tiers have many API calls, all the way up to tier 9, which has 10,000 API calls. I mean, you could do this all day long and not chew up your API calls. They reset the first of every month. Now, tier 1 only has 20 API calls, so that makes it to where this feature is not really useful as much to a tier 1. They can use this, but they can only do 20 of them. If they tried doing 21, it would not process because you don't have the sufficient API calls available on your account to do so. Which hopefully that answers the question as to why not everything is not available. We try to add value to tower coverage as you go up in tiers. The higher tier, the more valuable and more powerful your account is. So that would be one of the reasons why we do that.
Gotcha.
And I also want to note that there's definitely no contract with this, so you can upgrade and downgrade as you seem fit. It's very easy. There's no contract. It's just a monthly subscription. Very easy, very basic. So, again, if I actually had another person on Facebook actually today. They asked, why would I use it whenever I don't see the value in using it? And I sit there and think about that. I go, okay, so let's just say you have a install or a customer that called you up and said they want you to check for an install. So that means you have to drive to their house. You have to have a person or two there to check your service. And then you have to drive back. Let's just say, for instance, that takes you an hour to drive there and drive back. And then on top of that, you have 2 people. So you're paying 2 people $10 an hour. Just use that. So that's $20. You've just shelled out $20 to have 2 people go check that. Now that does not count gas, depending on how far it is away. That does not account for vehicle maintenance. That does not account for the vehicle itself. That does not account for the equipment that you use to check it. So let's just round that up to $30. So it costs you $30 to go do that one site survey. And this is at a minimum level. This is a $10, two $10 an hour people, minimum levels. The minimum package is $25. I don't see how, if you did not do that one site survey because your system said, no, they cannot get signal there, that one site survey that you did not do just paid for a $25 a month account. Now, as you go up in accounts, yes, it gets more expensive, but you also have a lot more area, a lot more towers, a lot more features. Because of that, in the event of you are not getting these installs, or you're getting these customers that are submitting to you that says, I wish to get service, on top of all that, you are getting all those, but now you're not going to them. Because of that, again, you're saving that money. You're knowing where to focus your customers or your marketing dollars to. You can send them on to an install that you know you can get versus an install that you might get or most likely will not get. So right there, I see the value add in the application. Furthermore, you have the website integration. The website integration, again, gives you this type of detail. Within typically 5 minutes, you will get an email with all this data. So you know a person that has no experience with RF engineering, zero. We actually send an email, and that recommendation says good link, marginal link, bad link. And guess what? They are green, yellow, and red. All right? Because of that, those customers can submit the data, and then you have a sales rep give them a call and say, hey, I'm sorry we can't get you. However, we'll keep you on our information sheet, and when we get service in your area, we can give you a call. Then the customer's happy. But if you have a customer that can get a link, that has a good link, guess what? You can call them up and you can schedule an installation instead of we'll have to come out and check it. That right there pays for itself hands down. And then the new features that we just added, the ability to update your maps, the multiple maps simultaneously, and then the ability to find your tower site, to find a location where you can actually take your coverage, take your potential customers that you have in our system. You can find those potential customers, all the no-goes, and then you can find where to put a tower or where's there a tower I can actually get service on. And then you can give them a call and say, hey, we actually have a client that has been using this feature. And he told me, this was about a couple weeks back, actually probably a couple months back. He said that he had a client or a tower that he was wishing to get on. He had the contracts ready. Everything was ready to go. All he had to do was sign the contract and actually go install it. Everything else was already done. All the negotiating was done. He had us do the reverse path. He had his agents call like 150 people. And out of 150 people, he got like 33 of them to say, yes, I'm going to give you a $100 deposit so that as soon as that tower is up and running, you can come install me. So he literally had 30 people ready to install before the tower was even installed. So, again, this is the type of thing, these are the types of things that you have to think about whenever you're using tower coverage. It is a tool. You have to operate correctly, and you have to understand what a valuable tool it is to be able to operate efficiently. And that's really what the big key is how can we make you more efficient?
Right. And, the thing that I really caught my eye was in those heat maps, moving that dot around. I mean, in that highly irradiated zone, if you will, if I got the address, I could zero in on that and maybe go knock on the door. Hey, could I put up a 30-foot, 40-foot roan and provide service? Exactly. That alone is gold there.
Yeah. So, all righty. With that said, I don't have any other questions. I'm just looking to make sure that we don't have any other questions. All looks really good. I'm good. Steven, are you good?
Yeah, great product. Interesting new stuff you guys have added. this is a valuable tool, folks. If you haven't tried it out, give it a shot. I've done it, and it's pretty intuitive. Doesn't take a lot of brain power to do, especially when you're busy.
Yeah, and like I said, we try to make it easy. We actually offer consulting services, so we've actually had some clients give us a call and say, hey, I have 48 towers. I don't have time to put it in. So can you put it in? Yeah, we can do that. We can do that on our consulting time. We can do that. We also have customers that call us up and say, hey, I want the Form 477 filled out and actually filed with the FCC. Not just the raw data. I actually want it actually filled out and filed. We actually do that as well.
Well, and that was another valuable thing. I saw 15 days due, guys. So I'm going to hit that today after the show.
Yeah, very, very important.
Definitely.
Well, if that's it, if we don't have any other questions, just a great show, great product. Happy that you guys have really taken the bull by the horns and are taking people's ideas and implementing them. And I like the ability to throw out questions and you guys implement new ideas that maybe you hadn't thought of.
Yeah, I mean,
in a way of tracking it.
There's always new things. I mean, we have so many new features that we want to implement. Some of them are huge. I mean, some of them are going to take probably 6 months of a programmer just sitting there typing away at it because it's so complicated. But there's plenty of little bitty things that make the site more functional, that make the end user experience much more enjoyable. And that's what we want to know. We want to know, what do you need so that we can focus on those.
Right. Well, if that's it, thanks for listening in on the show. Take a look at TowerCoverage with their version 3. Good looking stuff. And Dennis, you want to sign us out?
Yep. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you for listening to ISP Radio. We hope you've gained new insights and additional wisdom in our industry as well as your business. Please remember to visit our show sponsors via the links on ispradio.com. If you're interested in becoming a show sponsor, contact us at sales@ispradio.com. Now go out there and push those packets as fast as you can. Good luck and Godspeed.